The night it began, the rain came down hard on a forgotten street in Cleveland, Ohio, blurring the neon lights and soaking the cracked pavement outside a small auto repair shop that smelled of oil, rust, and long-held dreams. Inside that shop stood a man whose life had taught him to expect nothing and give everything, unaware that a single, ordinary question asked by a stranger would quietly rewrite the course of his future. Before the story unfolds further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of unexpected connections, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive. Caleb Morgan had learned early how fragile life could be. Raised in foster homes across Ohio, he grew up fixing broken things because it felt easier than fixing people or himself. By 34, he had become a skilled mechanic, known in his neighborhood for fair prices and honest work. The shop was small, barely surviving, but it was his. Every dented hood and worn engine felt like proof that broken things could still be useful. Caleb worked long hours, his hands permanently marked by grease and scars, his back aching with the weight of responsibility. He sent money every month to support his younger sister Hannah, who was battling a chronic illness in a care facility 2 states away. Life had taught him endurance, not expectation. On a late Friday evening, as the rain intensified, a sleek but battered black sedan rolled into the lot, steam rising from under its hood. The woman who stepped out didn't look like she belonged on that street. Her coat was simple but elegant, her posture confident yet tired, her eyes carrying a heaviness that didn't match the car or the quiet authority in her presence. Her name was Victoria Reynolds, though at that moment she was simply another stranger in need. She watched Caleb work in silence as he diagnosed the problem quickly, his movements practiced and calm, never once glancing at her shoes or the understated watch on her wrist that cost more than his shop earned in a month. Victoria had built her life on control. At 41, she was the CEO of a nationwide logistics company based in Chicago, worth millions but emotionally bankrupt. Years of boardrooms, betrayals, and carefully calculated relationships had left her lonely in ways money could never fix. That night, she wasn't running from a breakdown, but from a life that felt hollow despite its success. She had driven aimlessly, ending up far from the polished skyline she called home, until the car finally gave out. As Caleb finished the repair, Victoria felt something unfamiliar. He didn't rush, didn't charm, didn't pretend. He simply did the work and treated her like a human being, not a title or an opportunity. On impulse, driven by exhaustion and a longing she didn't fully understand, she asked him to spend the weekend with her as a date. Not as a transaction, not as charity, but as a chance to feel normal. Caleb, surprised and guarded, agreed with hesitation. He assumed she was just another passing moment, someone looking for distraction, someone who would disappear by Monday. The weekend began modestly. They drove to a quiet lakeside town along Lake Erie, staying at a small inn with peeling paint and warm lights. Caleb felt out of place at first, unsure why someone like her would choose someone like him. Victoria, meanwhile, found herself relaxing in ways she hadn't in years. They walked along the shore, shared simple meals, and talked about life without pretenses. Caleb spoke of Hannah, of nights spent worrying about bills, of dreams he'd buried because survival came first. Victoria listened, truly listened, without trying to fix or analyze. For the first time in years, she wasn't a CEO, and he wasn't just a mechanic. They were two people standing in the same quiet moment. But beneath the calm, tension brewed. Caleb noticed her frequent calls she ignored, the way she seemed to carry the weight of something unspoken. Victoria struggled with guilt, knowing she was hiding a truth that could shatter the fragile connection forming between them. She had told herself it didn't matter, that money had ruined enough relationships already. Yet every shared laugh, every silent glance, made the secret heavier. By Sunday evening, reality came crashing back. A news alert on Caleb's phone displayed a headline about Victoria Reynolds securing a billion-dollar merger. The photo was unmistakable. The woman beside him by the fire, wrapped in a borrowed sweater, was suddenly someone else entirely. Caleb felt foolish, exposed, like a charity project or a temporary escape from her real life. His past rejections screamed louder than reason. Without confrontation or explanation, he withdrew emotionally, the walls he had built rising fast and firm. Victoria saw the shift immediately. The warmth faded, replaced by distance and polite silence. She realized too late that honesty might have mattered more than comfort. When the weekend ended, they parted with uncertainty hanging in the air like unfinished business. Caleb returned to his shop, throwing himself into work, convincing himself that people like her didn't stay. Victoria returned to Chicago, to meetings and contracts, but nothing felt the same. The quiet man with oil-stained hands had seen her more clearly than anyone in years. Weeks passed. Caleb's sister Hannah took a turn for the worse, and medical bills mounted beyond what he could manage. The shop struggled, equipment failing, hope thinning. One afternoon, a corporate vehicle pulled up, and a representative delivered news that stunned him. A private foundation had approved full coverage for Hannah's treatment and offered a grant to renovate his shop, no strings attached. There was no press, no name attached publicly, only a note with a single sentence that spoke of belief and second chances. Caleb knew immediately who it was from. Pride battled gratitude, but humility won. He realized that Victoria hadn't tried to buy his affection, but had quietly supported the things he loved most. He reached out, not with anger or accusation, but with honesty. They met again, this time on equal emotional ground. There were no grand gestures, only truth, vulnerability, and the understanding that both had been afraid in different ways. If this story is beginning to touch your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in hope, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this live because of your love and support. Their relationship didn't transform overnight. It grew slowly, deliberately, built on trust rather than illusion. Victoria learned to step away from control and status, finding peace in simplicity. Caleb learned that worth wasn't measured by income or background, but by character and courage. Together, they balanced each other, two incomplete lives forming something steady and real. As the seasons changed, so did they. The shop became a community space, offering apprenticeships to struggling youth. Victoria restructured her company to invest in local businesses, guided by empathy rather than numbers alone. Love didn't erase their pasts, but it gave them a future shaped by understanding. Before this story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment the word hope below if you believe that unexpected kindness can change a life. In the end, it wasn't the weekend date that changed everything. It was the moment two strangers saw each other without masks, without titles, and chose compassion over fear. And sometimes, that is enough to turn an ordinary night in the rain into the beginning of a life worth believing in.